Hello, Charles County. Welcome back to another episode of Cracking the Code, where we talk about all things related to zoning and regulations here in Charles County. I'm Doria Fleisher in the Media Division. I am thrilled to be joined today by Sherri Davis, our planner in the Planning and Growth Management Department.
Yes.
And Liz Theobalds, who always is so willing to co-host and does a great job facilitating these conversations with me, from our county attorney's office, our deputy county attorney.
And thank you very much for again inviting me.
It's always a pleasure. And I just am laughing. We sat here prepping for this episode and came up with 12 more topics to talk about in the meantime. So poor Liz, I feel like it's a constant, like, if you come into the space, Liz, not only can we have today's conversation, but then we'll start talking about future. I love having somebody who's so willing to educate. So thank you.
It works.
Now, Sherri, this is your first time getting rewarded / stuck / challenged / voluntold / excited about doing one of these recordings with us.
Yes, this is my very first time, but I'm excited.
Good. And you are here today to talk to us about special events.
Yes, special
Awesome.
events. A very hot topic, especially with the spring coming up.
It is. And you're relatively new stepping into this kind of lead role for special events, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
So about a year before Cindy retired, I kind of stepped in and started taking over as the primary coordinator of public events. So in taking over as a primary role, I was able to identify a lot of areas that I seen where we were running behind information instead of providing what we needed everything
to do before. And Cindy Bober, our wonderful staff who was here for Liz a really long time, right? She was, who talked with us about special events a while ago. So this is a great refresher, and I love that you're bringing your experience to it, but also this fresh set of eyes of, let's see if there's a way we can get more engaged with the community about special
and
events.
I really like engaging with the community because they call with some very interesting questions, and so it kind of gives me an opportunity to kind of go through the process with them.
Love it. I'm laughing, and I'm not going to ask you to share this on air, I promise, but I am laughing at like what's probably the most ridiculous special event request you've gotten, and I assume it involves like farm animals with a moon bounce with a swimming pool. Like I'm picturing like what's the like craziest party we could have in Charles County?
The craziest.
Oh, she's willing to do it. I said I wasn't going to put her on the spot, and she's doing it for me. Go for it,
The
Sherri.
craziest normally involve animals.
Yes.
They normally involve animals, and there is a whole nother set of logistics that go along with animals, because depending on whether it's a circus, then we have to bring in public works. So that's a whole different caveat.
Yeah. It's so interesting that like the great thing is having fun things to do.
Yes.
And the important thing is having fun things to do that are. And actually, this is a great lead. And Sherri, your job exists, and Liz talks about this all the time in these Cracking the Code episodes. Your job exists for safety and quality of life, yes?
Absolutely.
Tell me what that, when I say that, how does that ring true to you?
Pretty much what it is we're making sure that the citizens of Charles County, and even those that come in from other counties that attend events here in the county, are safe.
Gotcha.
Pretty much. We want to make sure that no one's going home with food poisoning. We want to make sure that the emergency services and the sheriff's office is aware of exactly what's going on in the county, so that we can make sure that we have available resources in the event that anything goes
I love it. And I think you touched on something so valuable, that when we have these conversations, this is to protect the host of the party or the event.
Yes.
This is to protect the attendees. This is to protect our resources so that they're not walking into something.
Absolutely.
I love the when we can see it from that kind of broader vision of this really
And
makes
our
everybody safe.
constituents.
Yeah. Tell me what that means.
Even when we have events, like say for instance, Regency Stadium, some of the events take place outside. And of course you have neighbors that's around that can hear the noise that's impacted by the traffic. So if the sheriff's office is not aware that this is taking place, then they can't put barriers in place to protect the neighbors.
Gotcha. So a planned out process. And Sherri, since you've stepped into this role, one of the things that I want to start by talking about what a special event is, but one of the things that I'm so excited about is that your office worked with my office and created some really nice hopefully visually accessible documents, as in instead of like read this 30-page document about special events, we tried to make it visually pleasing. So tell us about what a special event is and about these new documents that are floating in space for residents to use.
Okay, so pretty much a special event is anything that involves inviting the public in.
Okay.
Tickets can be sold or it can be a free event, but if the public is involved, it's a public event. Only time it's not considered a public event is if it's by invitation only.
Okay.
If it's by invitation only, of course, that is on the onus of the person that's throwing the event. But if it's free, tickets sold, open to the public, it's a public
If
event.
anyone can show up.
If anyone can show up.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, so when we talk about these special events, what are some examples? I know we've talked about them kind of seasonally, and you said spring's coming up, but talk to me, if you don't mind, go through the year with me. What do we tend to see in the winter, spring, summer, fall when we talk about special events?
As the weather gets warmer, we have a lot of requests for concerts.
Okay.
So a lot of those will be at like Regency Stadium or at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
We have a lot of carnivals. We have pool parties. That is a hot topic.
Yeah.
We have those that come up. Car shows. Car shows are very prevalent throughout the entire county.
Okay.
We have a lot of charity events, marathons, walks. We have those that come up. We also have movie nights. We also had over at, I can't think of the name of it, but they will host every Friday night. They will host a concert series the first Friday of the month. So we also have those. So as things get warmer, then we go
People come out
into
more.
go into the wine festivals. As we go over into summer a little bit more, and then as we go over into the fall, we have a lot of the holiday events, trunk or treats, and tree festivals, haunted houses, and different things like that.
Yeah, the pumpkin patches, and the
Yes.
meet with Santas, and
Thank you.
I mean,
the
it's-
words escaped me.
No, and I love it because you're describing, it's funny when I'm listening to you say that, you're describing all the wonderful things to do in Charles County. And then one side of my brain goes to, oh my gosh, this sounds like so much fun. And the other side of my brain pictures what it would look like if it didn't go well. You hear the horror stories on the news, right?
Right.
Like this is when it doesn't go well. So throughout the year, we've got to make sure we're keeping these people safe.
Exactly.
So these new documents that we created, one is a guide, right? That tells people exactly how to
Yes.
apply.
How to go through and apply. And so pretty much when I took over the role, I was able to get with each of the individual reviewers to determine what it is that they needed.
And I'm going to pause you. Reviewers.
Yes.
So who are
So
the
we're
reviewers?
looking at the different departments and entities. We're looking at the sheriff's office, the health department.
Okay.
We have bonding that they may have to do if it's over 1,000 people.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
We have animal control. If
Okay.
there's animals involved, we may have public works that's involved. We will have, it all depends on the logistics of that particular event.
When you're going to host a special event, and we'll talk about the timeline through that, your permit, you're reaching out to Sherri
Yes.
in Charles County government.
Yes.
But then Charles County government is checking in with either departments within Charles County government or the affiliate partners, the sheriff's office.
Exactly.
And saying like, you good with this? You prepared for this? Okay,
Exactly.
beautiful. Okay.
Thanks for reiterating that. We touched on that the first time we did this podcast to make sure everybody knows that it's not the county just being like the overall bad guy saying you have to do this and you have to comply with this. The reality of it is that there are safety concerns at very many levels that we don't have direct control over, but we have to go ahead and refer to the specialists, like you said. If it's animal control, if we have, if you're going to be putting up a stage or have a tent, you need to get the building code inspectors involved. So we are really just the central part of it. We get started.
Kind of the convener. Yes, like it's our job to make sure, it's your job when you get the permit to get to us, and then it's our job to make sure everybody else is looped in.
Exactly. So pretty much I serve as the facilitator.
Okay, great.
So when it comes into me, I'm looking at it to make sure that that the logistics of the event that's outlined in the application, that each and every reviewer that needs to be coordinated with, that they either put in touch with that particular person, or that I'm reaching out to them to find out, has this person already contacted
Has it been done?
you?
So
Right.
I love that it sounds like your first step in kind of making sure the process was clear to residents was making sure the professionals all in the room agreed what the process was. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yes, that's
Gotcha.
exactly it.
So you got all the affiliates together and said, does this work for you? Does this work for you?
Yes.
And then you guys created this guide.
Yes. What
Okay.
do you need? What
Yeah.
do you need from the planner of the event to ensure that we can get this through as smoothly as possible?
Yeah.
So actually what I'm in the process, I actually just sent out an email today. I was like, this is very odd.
The universe is ready.
And I have not gotten anything for March.
Oh.
So
and normally you think you would have, like by
I
this time
would
you
have
would be getting
received
stuff.
something by the end of December.
Okay.
So as I'm going through and checking for the permits, I haven't received anything. So my first thing is to check with Regency Stadium and the fairgrounds to find out, have you all received anything?
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to be proactive, so that we're not at the last minute, because although they're telling them you all need to coordinate with the county, they're not doing it.
Right. And that's frustrating, but also good that you're kind of circling back and saying,
Yes.
it's weird, I haven't heard anything. So we've got this new step-by-step guide that tells people exactly what to do.
Yes.
And then the other document that was created that I think is great is the kind of what is and what's
What
not.
is it?
And I'll put all of this in the show notes. But Sherri, one of the things that I laughed at when we did what is a special event and what isn't is that the column of what is a special event has like 16 check marks, and the column of what isn't is like very few.
Right.
And really,
Maybe
the answer
two.
is like if you're having this open event to the public,
Right.
it's probably a special event.
Exactly. And like, even I get a lot of a request for religious events. Like if they want to just do a prayer vigil at the park or outside. No, you do not have to contact us for a special event. That is a religious event. You're just gathering there. Now, what changes it is, are you inviting in vendors? Are you inviting in food trucks? That changes the dynamic of whether or not it's just a private event or whether or not it's going to be, now you're turning this prayer vigil into anybody can ride past and get out and get this food.
Gotcha. Okay. So what I would encourage residents to do is step one, check out these two new guides that we put online. I'll put this where you can find it in the show notes, because I'm hoping we achieved this. The goal is that instead of making you read this long, detailed thing, we've kind of given it to you at a glance. So fingers crossed.
And if you want the long, detailed document, just email me.
Nobody's going to do that, Sherri. So, Sherri, the reason that this process can be complicated and take a while is for that safety component. But talk to us about what that actually looks like. So somebody decides they want to have this special event. They check out. I'm hoping people will look at these proactively, but even, reactively, they're like, okay, I really want to do this thing. I've looked at this. I now need to reach out to Sherri.
Yes.
What happens?
So when they call me, the first thing I'm going to ask is, when is the event? What type of event? What are you looking to do at the event? So I need to really lock down the scope. Like, are you going to have stages? If you're going to have stages and generators, you definitely need to start coordinating with building permits now. If you are going to have food, if it's going to be a large concert over 1,000 people, 2 people you need to talk to immediately. Bonding and the health department, because health department regulates noise.
Okay.
And last year, the health department actually added on, based on COMAR, a new requirement.
Okay.
Where it calls for, if you're having a concert or a festival of 1,000 people or more, you're required to go over to the courthouse to get a promoter's license.
It just there's an extra step.
There's an extra step.
All right. So I love when I have a lawyer in the room. Liz, what's COMAR? What's bonding?
COMAR is the Code of Maryland Regulations, and those are the regulations really that the health department sticks to make sure it is that what it is that the state code has said. These are important things thou must comply with. These are the regulations that end up filtering down in a more detailed fashion, so you can know these are the things that thou shalt do.
So COMAR comes from the state.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got our Charles County stuff.
Yes.
But everything Charles County still has to fall into a larger Maryland requirement as well.
Yes.
Okay. Bonding. This sounds like a lawyer word.
Bonding. Essentially,
I love bonding with you, Liz, just so you know. It's been a pleasure bonding with you over this podcast.
Yes. Bonding is a requirement that would be required if you're going to have more than the 1,000 people. It's really to make sure it is that if there are going to be additional safety needs, if there are going to be additional sanitation needs, any cleanup or anything like that, that there is, I guess there's no other way to say it, skin in the game to make sure it is that you clean up after yourself at the end of the day. You don't know if you're going to have more than 1,000 people. We like to think that everybody's clean and they pick up after themselves. Doesn't necessarily happen. Bonding is there to make sure it is that the conditions of the place are left in the way it is that it started.
So the deposit, is that a fair, kind of like a deposit, Sherri?
Now that I can't necessarily speak to. Now, what I have tasked myself with this year is I want to become more involved in that process so that I can speak to what the intricacies are.
So that when a person calls you and says,
I can say,
gotcha,
exactly what it is. But it's kind of like an insurance policy.
Okay.
It's kind of like an insurance policy. If you don't clean up the fairgrounds, then essentially the county has an insurance policy to say that this can be covered.
It's still going to be, yeah. And I was looking down the list of things you'd said. It was like damage to the property, cleanup costs, if there's extra public safety or emergency response costs.
Yes.
Or if you fail to follow the permit conditions, whatever they are.
Exactly.
Okay. So now I'm going to circle back to, we talked about, so the person calls you, they ask you all these questions you ask them all these questions and you say, okay, let's get started.
Right.
What does the get started look like and how long does it take?
So we normally ask for a minimum of 45 days.
Okay.
I highly suggest that you start the process well in advance. As soon as you know that you're going to have an event, start the process. Because if you're having alcohol, the liquor board only meets once a month. So if you're coming in to me and we're 30 days out and the liquor board is already met for the month.
They're not going to have a special meeting for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
I also press upon it because if you need permits, like building permits for the stage or building permits for the generator, those permits can go through a number of reviews. We say 15 days in advance. However, it could be more than 15 days depending on whether or not you're fulfilling all the requirements or not. So if you're not fulfilling the requirements, you're pushing yourself back further and further. And if we do not get the approval from Building Code, you don't get a permit.
So I want this to come out the right way. The county government is not responsible for you not getting your permits in time if you apply in less than 45 days. So
Exactly.
So this is not a we're going to do our best and we'll help you if we can't. It is just, this is kind of a not negotiable. If you plan an event and the permit's not there, you cannot have the event.
You cannot have the event.
Okay, gotcha. I think that's a hard
Listen,
kind
I
of truth. It should not. Yeah,
You should not
It
have
truly is. And actually, as I've looked down the list and I've looked at the application myself and I'm thinking about all the reviews that people can go through, it's like, oh, I thought I had this stage drawn out in just the right way. Looking at it and it's like, yeah, no, that's too close to this. You need to go ahead and figure out another.
That changes everything.
Changes everything. So even though, and I love how committed you are, Sherri, and many people on your team to going ahead and doing a review within what people might say is, oh, that's too long, 45 days. No, 6 months is by the time is really
It's what's taking
yeah,
so long.
depending upon how big it is. I mean,
Yes.
really take it seriously enough to at least start asking the questions and pondering it and coming in with examples much further in advance.
And it's funny because I'm wearing those I always try to keep my county government hat on and then my resident hat on. And my resident hat is like, gosh, this feels like government again. You people with your stages, everything else. And then I think about that stage collapsing. And then I think about that mass of people that can't exit safely in case there's emergency. And then I think about, like you said, the food poisoning. And it's a good reminder, I think, when I wear my resident hat and I get that kind of come on, county government, move faster.
I'm just
I
trying
gotta
to have a
I'm just trying to have a party. We just want
And I
friends
hear
for
that
Charles
more
County.
often than not.
Right. It's a good reminder that there is actually the scary headline that follows if we're not careful.
Exactly. And when I'm going through this process, I continuously keep, and this sounds very dark, I continuously keep in mind the worst case scenario.
I appreciate you doing that because I think the party organizer, the event organizer might not be there excited about the event. The attendee might not be there, just excited to have something to do. So I appreciate that somebody's got their
Yes. I mean,
scary vision goggles.
The headlines all over the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they hold parties, like pool parties and things at their house. But they don't take into consideration when was the last time your deck was inspected and can it hold this number of people. So then what do you have? A deck collapse.
Right.
And then they don't go back to the people that held the party. Those victims' families are coming to the government. They're coming to say, you all didn't protect my people.
Right.
Well, when really it wasn't necessarily the case. It's like we've got this process. It seems like a pain in the neck, but there is a reason behind it.
Exactly.
We want everybody to have a good time, be safe, and not have the tragedy.
Yeah. And protect the homeowner also.
Exactly.
If your deck can't hold the people, don't try to have your deck hold the people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So somebody gets to you. We have an online portal for this, yes?
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Talk to me about how this. So I've determined I'm having the event. You get me started on the process. What do I do with this portal?
You go into the Citizen Self-Service portal and you create an account.
Okay.
You go in and you pull up public events.
Okay.
As soon as you pull up public events, it's going to allow you to go in and apply for the permit.
Okay.
Go through, answer every single question.
Every question, Sherri.
Every question that applies to you, because that's helping me to determine when I get ready to disseminate this for review, who is everybody that needs to look at it.
Gotcha. Because if we miss a step and find it later, It
set you back.
We're
It
doing
sets
everything
you back.
over again.
Exactly, right. And then we also have to take into consideration that our reviewers have lives.
Right.
We can't assume that just because this is going to the sheriff's office for review, that the sheriff is sitting there waiting on this document to come through. He still has other things that he's
And other
doing.
events going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
So,
the little things. Little things.
so we just have to take into consideration that we have to be very cognizant of, is someone in? Are they on vacation? You can't send me an event 3 days ahead of time and think that your permit is going to get issued.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
So we really need to allow more time. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So by filling out that permit, there's going to be a fee.
Yes.
Okay.
It's roughly about $152.
And that's just a fee to say I would like a permit. There might be
Yes.
other fees associated after that.
Yes.
Okay.
So there may be additional fees. So there are additional fees assessed by the health department.
For depending on what other things you need.
Yes.
Okay.
So they also have their own requirements. There are additional fees, like I was speaking about that promoter's license. You have to go to the courthouse to get that promoter's license. It's 30 minutes to get it, but it's $500.
Oh, okay.
So you have to take that into consideration.
So what we're
as well.
taking, I think what I hear you saying is, as people are planning these events, they need to take into consideration just how much time it could take.
Right.
And also
And
that
the
it's going to
cost.
cost. So
Yes.
don't maybe set your ticket price till you know
Exactly.
what you're, okay, gotcha.
And then you also have to take into consideration if you having building permits, you have to pay for
Everything
these
will
building permits.
go up in
So
cost.
everything has a cost associated with it.
All right. So Sherri, I have a question. In the great spirit of why people tend to not like government is that we tend to be complicated. We tend to have acronyms and we tend to have like, if this, but not that, but only on a Tuesday at 3:00, but not on a Thursday. Talk to me about some of the funky things that happen that, I know we talked about like the weird ones. If it's Regency Stadium, there's something different. There's a weird one about if it's in St. Charles, like what are,
Yes.
and maybe I shouldn't use the word weird. I hope that wasn't offensive to you.
No,
What are
it's
some of the unique the quirks? Talk to me about some of the quirks of having an event in Charles County that have to do with different locations.
So if it's in the plan unit development, which is a particular zone within the county, that usually encompasses the St. Charles neighborhoods. If it's within the PUD, as we call it, you are going to require approval from the Planning Design Review Board.
It's just a thing.
Right.
It's just a different thing than if I want to have my event in La Plata or if I want to have my event in
Exactly.
Mantua. Okay.
That step is not required for La Plata or any
But
place
specifically
outside
if
the
it's
PUD.
in that-
If it's in the PUD,
Okay.
you're going to require that approval by the Planning Design Review Board.
Okay.
Let me also go ahead and add,
Yeah.
they also have a separate schedule.
Yes.
And you'd have to be able to apply in advance to make sure it is that you you complete their application, complete it properly so that they can properly evaluate it.
Yes.
I believe they meet once a month or maybe every other month. I don't know their exact schedule, but I think I'm trying to make sure it's clear that it's
early.
not every day that they meet.
Right.
They don't meet on demand. They have a schedule.
Yes,
makes sense.
and
Okay.
thankfully we have 2 new reviewers, so they're very active and involved depending on the neighborhoods that it falls under.
Okay.
So they are working diligently with the customers to make
But it's
sure
still
that they
gonna
can
take
get it through,
time.
but it's still going to take time.
Okay. Talk to me about Regency Stadium, and then I'm going to ask a question about just how early you would need to start. But tell me about the Regency Stadium quirk.
Regency Stadium is considered as the commissioner's property.
Okay.
So if there's an event held at Regency Stadium, there is a specific affidavit that has to be completed.
Okay.
And that particular affidavit is escaping me right now. It's the
I'm looking to see if I can help you with
Public
this.
Event Operator Affidavit.
Which is not the PUD, it's the PO. I love it. We've got, this is why people hate government, y'all. This is why. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the Public Event Operator Affidavit, and that has to be signed off on by the commissioners.
Okay.
And
So
the
it just adds a different level.
Yes.
So one of the things that I always like to talk about during Citizens Academy is we're throwing all of this information out at you. We don't actually need you to remember any of it.
No.
We just need you to know that it exists, right?
Yes.
So if anybody has a question, concern about this, they can find it on the website.
Yes.
They can follow our new documents that are hopefully a little more easy to navigate.
Yes.
And they can just reach out to you.
Yes, they can
Okay.
reach out to me. If they call planning, no doubt in my mind, they're going to say, you need to talk to Sherri.
Please just talk to Sherri. Don't talk to us. So Sherri, we've talked about the 45 days. We've talked about that, if you have structures, you're going to need this. If you have animals, you're going to need this. If you have liquor, if you're serving alcohol, you're going to need this. If you're at the Regency Stadium, if you're in the PUD, apply early, apply early. What's the earliest you would want someone to apply? If I know that I'm having a special event 6 months, a year, 2
As
years
soon
from
as
now,
you know,
there's not
it's
like a
never
too early. Okay.
It's never too early. That just allows us to have the opportunity to go through and get everything in line and issued early.
Gotcha. That
So
makes sense.
at the end of last year, we have each year they do like a hangover bike ride or something at the ATV park or something. So at Wacomico, they go through and they do that every year. So actually last year in October, they submitted their permits for the event the beginning of January.
Perfect. So,
that we
there's
can make
not
sure
a,
everything
it's
is
not
done.
like you're going to say, oh, Doria, you're too early. Come back in 6 months and bother me again. You'll just hold on to it till it's.
No, I'm
you'll
going to
start
start
processing it.
processing.
Okay.
And as soon as I get through all of the approvals, I'm going to issue you your permit.
So the permit can be issued well in advance of the
Yes,
event.
it can.
And
Gotcha.
when does it expire? Let me ask that.
The permit expires the day after it's set. The event is set to end. It expires that next day.
That makes sense.
If you need to come in, like we normally ask them for rain dates.
Ah,
So if there's a rain date or if it snows or something, you can't hold your event. If you contact me to let me know, listen, we can't hold it on this day. We're going to push it to this date. I'll just update the permit in the system. So that
as long
we
as
know.
nothing else changed. The only change is the date.
Is the date.
Everything else is staying the same. But if anything else changes,
Anything else
start the whole
changes, then
process.
you're going to have to go back through that particular process.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, Sherri. First of all, thank you. We went through a lot. We've talked about what the process is, where people can find the details, what is, what's not a special event. We've talked about some of the fees, how long it takes, what bonding is, not just what Liz and I do over Cracking the Code. I think we've touched on a lot, including that, and I don't want to give away too much, but that we even talked about at the beginning before this became recorded, that there were other things we were going to talk to you about coming up about swim parties and renting out your house and kind of the other things that I think we're reading some headlines about how to keep people safe in Charles County.
Yes.
And what happens if you do break the rules, and how to protect yourself so that doesn't happen as the owner, the host, the neighbor, or the attendee. Yeah.
Everybody involved.
So what I hear you saying, Sherri, is that you officially commit to continue this conversation with us in front of my lawyer.
Yes.
I love it.
Commit. I would just say that when we get to that particular part, we may want to pull in our zoning inspection supervisor, because he's the one that when we have a problem, we send him. If we know we're not going to have, if we see an event. And the good thing is that the health department, when they send stuff, they send it to me.
Perfect.
And they say, do we have any a public event permit for this?
So everybody's kind of covering each other's.
Yes.
Are you talking? Are we talking? We've got
Yes.
this.
I kind of walked in and I was like, listen, we all need to hold each other's hand.
Yeah.
So that we can just go through this process. If I can say, oh, no, you need to speak to the health department. Oh, no, you need to speak to this person. And I kind of started pulling together a guide, which is that long document that you kind of seen put together. But as I go through, like with emergency services, they say, well, we need to know if you're having a race, if you're having a marathon, do you have ambulance assigned on duty? Because we can't take away from the resources of the county
That are already
for your
needed.
event.
That
Right.
makes sense.
How many units do you have that's assigned? If you're having a big party or a concert or something, have you reached out for private security? You can give us a name, but trust and believe that the sheriff's office is going back to make sure that these people are licensed to do this.
So many different things. And Sherri, I appreciate you're encouraging people to do this so early. You work on a government business hours schedule,
Yes.
whereas our EMS, our sheriff's office does not. So when I run into a problem with my event at 10 p.m. on a Saturday, I'm not calling Sherri Davis on the phone, or if I am calling, Sherri Davis is not picking up. And I think that's such a good reminder. I think, once it's out of our hands as county government, it's out of our hands, and then the host or the property owner or the attendee is going to be dealing directly
You
with.
do not get you get the sheriff's office.
Okay.
You get the sheriff's office, which may trickle down to zoning inspections.
Right.
Which may end up in the county attorney's office.
But I'm not getting
depending on-
Sherri on the phone when I have a problem, so I need to get all my problems solved with Sherri
Everything
early.
solved before 4:30 p.m. on Friday.
I love it. Sherri, thank you so much. So I know in the show notes, we'll make sure we put information about that citizen self-service portal, and we'll put in the new documents we created where people can find stuff, and of course your contact information.
Yes.
Excellent. Sherri, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one thing that if people are listening to this, watching this, what's the one thing you want them to remember? If they would remember nothing else that we've talked about.
Don't hesitate to call. Call and ask a question. Don't assume that you don't need it. It's better to be safe than sorry. pick up the phone and call to say, this is what I want to do. What do I need?
Love it.
And I can say, oh, you're fine. You don't need a public event permit, or you do, and let's get you started now.
Okay. So either way.
Check in.
Love it. Liz, what do you want to add to this conversation? You had a lot of really great notes at the beginning that I was sprinkling in, but what does your legal voice want to tell us and remind us?
The legal voice goes back to the fact that we're doing this Cracking the Code to inform so that people don't necessarily have to face enforcement, because what we like to do is see compliance ahead of time.
Yes.
One of the things that I think is the most valuable little nugget that I pull from this is share your dedication and how it is that you are willing to bring the various agencies together to make this much more of a streamlined process.
For everyone.
For everyone. And I think that it's really important to know that, like I said, if you don't reach out to Sherri, you've got somebody who's really just like holding your hand and almost walking you through the whole thing.
And I literally do.
Yes.
I literally do.
And I think that any applicant that doesn't take advantage of that, they may find themselves, with the party that's shut down because they invited food vendors who didn't get the health department approval. And I really appreciate you, Sherri, for the commitment to building this based on what it is that you had found working with Ms. Brilber ahead of time, and really making it something it's doable. I looked at the list and I said, oh my gosh, I am never going to have an event ever in my life. And then I was like, something, I'm listening to Sherri and I'm like,
this is doable.
It's doable.
Yes.
If I follow the steps and I do it early, this is doable.
It is very doable. Yeah. And when you call me, they're gonna say, I tried to get in touch with this person, I couldn't. Let me shoot a message. We're gonna get you through this. Just hold on. I got you. I'm not gonna let you fall. We're gonna get through it. And actually each year I always get, are you coming to the event?
Oh,
I got tickets for you to come. I can't promise you that I'm
But I love your social calendar. You must be I'm going to remember this the next time I have family in town or I'm looking for something. You're like, Sherri, what are the good events going on? I'm like, who's permitted this week? What's going on?
Yes, just reach out to me. I keep a database of them all because I need to know and be sure when it came in, because we actually keep account of for most locations, if they are not a public event.
They don't do this all the time, right?
They are not. Most locations are limited to 30 events a year. So I have to keep count of, if Lamont's have an event, how many events have they had this year?
So another reason to start early it's not necessarily that it's a problem with my event,
right?
But if the venue that I think I'm going to have it at is capped out. Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that with the fairgrounds or with Regency.
But for other events.
But for other events, spaces, we do.
These are such good things to remember. Complicated.
Yes.
But remember. And I'm laughing. I feel like a future education campaign could be like, work with Sherri so you don't have to see Liz. Like, you're going to want to get all your problems solved with Sherri so that you don't end up in the county attorney's office with Liz. Like, do this, not that. No offense, Liz.
Yes.
No offense.
Exactly.
Ladies, thank you both so much. Sherri Davis, a planner in our Planning and Growth Management Department, doing all of the special event permits.
Thank you for having me.
And Liz Theobalds, our Deputy County Attorney and amazing co-host of Cracking the Code. Thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure to join you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. This was a long episode. I hope you got a lot of information out of it, and I hope it got you excited for all of the events that you might be thinking of hosting or attending in Charles County this new year. We're just starting 2026. So lots of new episodes coming your way too. You can always go back and check out our other content on Cracking the Code, and stay tuned for more episodes coming your way. Thanks so much, Charles County. Take care, stay safe, and stay engaged.
Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, search Charles County Government on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube. Search Charles County Commissioners. And stay connected for all county news, information, and programs by visiting www.charlescountymd.gov/stay connected.